Well, I like to apologize if I got a little bit carried away on that Miss Sullivan video, few videos back or so. But most of you, at this point, should know better than to think that I'm racist. Now, if we go to the movie Boondock Saints, what was it about? Boondock Saints 1, Boondock Saints 2. It was about the organized crime families that were menacing to society, and the black organized crime structure was not one of them. They talked about the Russians. They talked about the Italians. And they talked about the corruption in the justice system. But notice they weren't talking about black revolutionaries or black gangs or black prison gangs, but common street criminals. The reason black gangs were invented in the first place. Because it ended up being a group of people just protecting their neighborhood. They would protect them from the whites and the spook hunters and racist groups like that, and the KKK and the Aryan nations. And as the media started getting a whiff of what was going on, they started labeling them gangs. And a bunch of high school kids who get a kick out of things like that went along with it. So what are we talking about here? We are talking about the New World Order, the scum, and all the battles I can reference and those that I can't. Now, what is going on in the movie is you also have a feminist bitch who symbolizes Satan, using her as an instrument to demand rights she shouldn't have, including the right to be a man, which is covered in the Bible as the way scum behave. That was in part 1, toward the beginning, I believe. So you have to truly understand that anybody who looks at society using the lens of the Bible, which is the moral of the stories, I would say, comes to the conclusion that a bunch of scum are running the system, and that nobody is going to do anything about it. Because they are all sitting there praying for pie in the sky. Just like that movie where you have the black cowboys running around posse. They're praying for pie in the sky. Just like Scarface said, you have a Hosa watching you on every fucking corner. You have to understand what they are telling you using symbolism in the movies. The concept of the movie Tomb Raider and the movie Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons as well, they all use the term Illuminati because they're bragging. It's hidden in plain view. They know that they've discredited the idea and they've dumbed down the people so much that even though the idea is true, they forced you to look at it through their lens, and you believe what the scum is telling you is true, that the Illuminati doesn't exist, that bankers couldn't use their influence in meetings like Bilderberg, the CFR, and the Trilateral Commission, and use the groups and the companies and the conglomerates owned by the members of those committees, like David Rockefeller, like Edmund de Rothschild, to practice having a complete and unorthodox method to efficiently control the population and the money flow as well. Just like the cocksuckers, for those of you in California, some of you just received a tax hike because the Fed is a bunch of cocksuckers. That's why, temporary or not, they control the flow of the money and have the resulting impact in your life. Some of you who live check to check know what I'm talking about. The scum deciding how much of your money that you work hard for that you should have, and using the tax money to oppress you and those around the globe as well. They plan it out, and they execute, and they do drills, and they even have fire drills and earthquake drills in school, because they're applying the same model and principles to prepare you for a natural disaster that they apply to themselves when preparing themselves and the members of the elite and the 1% for a man-made disaster caused by a revolution as well. This is why the senator and the House representative and the House speaker wouldn't let Oliver North elaborate. Wouldn't let the senator who's questioning him elaborate and continue to interview him and explore the national security contingency plans. Do they have a contingency plan for everybody? Are they making these disaster movies to put a little water on the flames of guilt in their mind that are chewing at their mind, body, and soul and showing through the signs of stress with the bags under their eyes? Why they wonder, how long is it going to take before the people are convinced by somebody like me what they're doing? Why they sit there and stress not for your national security, but their private security, the private security sector, the relationship with the military-industrial complex. Why do we have pictures with all these globalists and all these presidents meeting each other? What are they up to? What do you think they're up to? Why do you think I named the top 3 levels the Chinese, the Vatican, and the Jews in the Vatican? In this order: the Chinese, the Jews, and the Vatican and Jews together. Because the Chinese are putting up a front to control what is going on in Asia and cooking their books. You have globalists on one side who oppose the smog that's coming from the Eastern nations. And then you have the globalists on the other side who want more. And there are conspiracies on both sides, controlled by the grand conspiracy as well. Who are we talking about? MI5, MI6, the IMF, the Mossad, the CIA. Think about it. The House of Rockefeller, the House of Rothschild, the United Nations. the World Peace Council, the World Health Organization, the Council on Foreign Relations is a big one. So what was the brawl about in the bar? It was about the mafia trying to extort the local bar business owner and shutting his bar down to make room for theirs. Because they had an agenda. They were the muscle for a criminal structure that had an agenda and knew ahead of time that they had a capacity to make it come true based on their relationship with certain government agencies, which could provide smoke. They provide cover. They provide fog. While the minions of Satan advance. That is what the wars in the prisons in California is about. That is what the street gangs are stabbing and shooting each other about. Because they're poor. Number one. Because crime and poverty, like Alex Alonso from that gang website, The Gang Expert, he's quoted in the movie about American gangs, about the Crips and the Bloods, gangbanging in America. He's quoted in that movie as well. Is that crime and poverty overlap. The number one reason there's crime, poverty. The number two reason there's crime, the environment. The number three reason there's crime is that people understand that the demons who control this country have left them no other way out. Thank you.